Kicking off our countdown at number 10 is Ashton Kutcher. Fans will never forget the time in 2011 when he cheated on Demi Moore with a woman who was much younger than her. Photos leaked online showing Ashton partying with a 22-year-old blonde girl in his bedroom at the Hard Rock Hotel in San Diego. The photos could not have come at a worse time either, as it was his wedding anniversary of 6 years with Demi. The worst part was Demi actually remembers the day that he met his mistress, Sarah Leal, and explained it in her memoir. She said that they were actually at a bowling alley with their daughter, and when Ashton went to switch out their shoes, Sarah came up, flirted a little bit, and gave her phone number to him on a napkin. Demi wrote, "When we got home that night and he showed it to me, I said, that is just gross. We were there with our kid." She said that he told her there was nothing to worry about, so when he eventually had the affair with her, it was just like a real slap in the face. Not long after that, they announced their split. Disgusting. Coming in hot at number 9, we have Justin Timberlake. I was absolutely devastated when I saw these scandalous pictures on the internet because I love his wife, Jessica Biel, and like, how do you do her dirty like that? I thought they were perfect together. But turns out their marriage isn't all glitz and glam, and in 2019, we got to see one of the reasons why. Photos leaked online showing Justin getting a little too cozy with his co-star at the time, Alicia Wainwright. The pictures were taken in New Orleans where they were filming, and one night they decided to take the night off filming and go out to a bar. They went to a local bar, and in the pictures, you can see him holding her hand, her putting her hand on his leg, all very super flirty stuff. But what fans also realized was that he was not wearing his wedding ring. For obvious reasons, this sparked huge cheating rumors, but Justin released a public statement saying that nothing happened further than what we see in those photos. Jessica did decide to stay with him, and they have worked through it, and they are together to this day. Would you forgive him? Like, do you think holding hands and flirty touching, like, is that crossing the line of cheating? I'm curious, let me know. Yeah, don't touch anyone. That's all. Up next, number 8, we have Kevin Hart. Another cheating scandal that sent people over the edge was in 2017 when video footage leaked online with Kevin and another woman that was not his girlfriend or wife. After the footage went viral, the internet started claiming that he had cheated on his wife, who was 8 months pregnant at the time, with their son. At first, Kevin was denying all of these rumors, but then he landed himself in the middle of an extortion attempt. Someone started alleging that they had a possession of a video of him getting sexual with another woman and threatened to expose the video if he did not pay them. His wife, Aniko, later talked about how she felt about the situation and how she found out about it in the first place. She said it was actually through a DM message on Instagram. Her exact words were, I quote, "I was about 7 or 8 months pregnant and I was having breakfast and I opened my phone and immediately I just lost it." As most people would. Kevin finally admitted to it and released a public apology to his wife and his family, and the two of them worked through it and they are still together. We out here, girls, we out here just freaking throwing forgiveness around, aren't we? Girls cheat too though, so don't think I'm just on the guys or the girls' side.
Number 7, Stephen Amell and Cassandra Jean Amell. The couple have been married since 2012 and all seemed well in public until it didn't. The star of CW's Arrow and his wife got into an altercation on a Delta flight from Austin to Los Angeles that ended up with the actor having to be forcibly removed from the flight. Stephen was reportedly screaming at Cassandra while they were seated on the plane and appeared to be intoxicated when a flight attendant asked him to calm down multiple times. When the fight escalated to the point of no return, the actor had to be restrained and removed by an air marshal and 3 flight attendants that worked together to get him off the plane. His wife did not go with him and instead chose to remain on the flight. Big surprise there. With the incident made public, Stephen took to Twitter to try and explain the whole thing and claimed that his emotions got the better of him. Quote, "My wife and I got into an argument. I was asked to lower my voice and I did. Approximately 10 minutes later, I was asked to leave the flight and I did so immediately. I was not forcibly removed." The whole thing was really absurd because if they needed 4 people to get him off the flight, something about his side of the story just doesn't add up.
Cruising into number 6 is Marlon Wayans. It was in 2013 when the unfortunate scandal forever changed his relationship. The actor was caught red-handed cheating on his wife after pictures leaked online of him hanging out with a mystery woman. In the series of pictures, you could see him having romantic moments with a woman in a yacht in St. Bart's. Apparently, he thought that he could get away with it if he went on vacation and tried to isolate themselves. After the picture surfaced, the two of them eventually split up, and in 2016, the actor finally spoke about it. He said when his wife found out and their children, they all physically attacked him. He said it put a huge wedge between their family. The good news is, after their split, they were able to build a solid relationship to at least co-parent their kids together. In more recent interviews, he has talked about his former wife and said he has the utmost love and respect for her, and said that he thinks of her as family and always will.
Halfway number 5 forces herself to cry. While Amber was on the stand, she was talking about some very traumatic moments in her past and getting somewhat emotional. At some points, it looked like she was getting over emotional in an attempt to make herself cry. For the longest time, it did not work, and she looked like she was in pain trying to get herself to cry for the jury. Many online were joking that it was the best acting performance she'd given in her life.
Moving on to spot number 4, we have Tristan Thompson. He got caught cheating on more than one occasion, so really, he should be on here twice. The first time was the worst though. Security footage leaked online from a nightclub that he was at and showed him getting handsy and kissing another woman. He decided to cheat at the worst possible timing ever. Not that there is ever a good time for that, but his girlfriend Khloe Kardashian was in the hospital about to give birth to their daughter. The video leaked while she was literally in labor, pretty much, so thanks. If those videos weren't bad enough, other videos also surfaced showing him going into a hotel room later that night with the same woman from the nightclub video. Khloe forgave him and stuck by his side, but then later down the road, it was revealed that he cheated again with Kylie Jenner's best friend, Jordan Woods, who was basically like a little sister to Khloe. Like, solid man. Great. Have fun explaining that to your daughter one day.
At number 3, 60 Minute Australia interview. In 2005, Tom was interviewed by 60 Minute Australia to talk about his Scientology beliefs and Hollywood stardom. During his interview with the journalist, Peter Overton, he would be asked a series of questions about Nicole Kidman. Eventually, Tom would feel like the questions have gone too far, in which he prompted to say, "You're overstepping your line now, you're overstepping the line, and you know you are." When Peter was asking questions the public wanted to know, Tom would then respond by saying, "Take responsibility for what you want to know. Don't say what other people say. This is a conversation I'm having with you, right?" Tom then continued to say, "I'm just telling you right now, just put your manners back in."
Taking over our number 2 spot is Eddie Fisher. His affair with Elizabeth Taylor was a celebrity scandal of the ages. The two stars met through Debbie Reynolds, Eddie's first wife, who was friends with her since high school. Eddie's son Todd Fisher talked about his father's affair while promoting his memoir in 2018 and said that it ruined his father's career. At the time of the affair, Todd says he was too young to understand the love triangle that was going on, but said the effects of it impacted the rest of their lives, as well as his father's bank account. In his book, he said the high-profile affair caused an insane tabloid frenzy and said they were both slammed in tabloids for the relationship that came out after the affair. Elizabeth and Eddie were married from 1959 to 1964, and while he may have been happy with Elizabeth at the time, his career greatly suffered after he left Debbie Reynolds. Todd wrote that his dad had contracts canceled due to morality clauses and that his career was completely wiped out. Earning the number 1 spot is Hugh Grant. Cheating on your spouse is not illegal, but doing it in a public place might be if you are engaging in sexual activity when you shouldn't be. The actor was arrested for his cheating scandal, which took place back in 1995. He was caught having sex in public with a sex worker who paid him $60 to perform intimate things on him. If you know what I mean, we are keeping it PG so that we do not get shut down, okay? You know what I'm trying to say. His arrest and mugshot was a massive scandal in itself. Even if he was single at the time, it would have made headlines. But at the time, he was actually dating Elizabeth Hurley, which made everything way worse. But despite the fact that he cheated, she did stay with him for 5 years. But after that, they eventually broke up down the road. She was able to move forward though and make a joke about it on her show, The Royals. Her character hired a male escort who called himself Huge Grant. That's some funny karma.
Number 10, Nigella Lawson and Charles Saatchi. The couple's fight was witnessed by a photographer who stumbled upon celebrity chef Nigella Lawson being choked by none other than her husband, Britain's most high-profile figure, Charles Saatchi. The incident all went down during her birthday lunch, and a now infamous photo was captured of the chilling sight. The photographer, who only went by the name Jean-Paul, told Vanity Fair in 2013 that when Charles grabbed his wife's throat, quote, "It was so violent, with such force that her head snapped backward." The story hit the tabloids at full speed and actually served to open up a much-needed conversation about domestic violence. Their relationship was obviously far from perfect, but the intense controversy that the incident sparked was enough to tear them apart forever. That same year, Charles filed for divorce from Nigella after 10 years of marriage. Funnily enough, he later told the Daily Mail that putting his hands on her throat was merely a gesture, and insisted that there was no pressure applied to her. Yeah, right. Number 9, Kim Kardashian and Kris Humphries. Their 72-day marriage had certainly shown signs that it was going to end quickly. A few days before Kim divorced Kris on day 68, the couple was spotted arguing in their car while out on a dinner date in Hollywood. The newlywed couple were photographed heading back to Kim's car after dinner, and you could visibly see the tension in the air. Kris looked fed up, and Kim was giving her new husband the death stare while yelling and waving her hands at him as the argument began to escalate. This very public fight was indicative that their relationship was on the rocks, because that same year Kim went on to file for divorce and got the marriage annulled. The Los Angeles Times even reported that Kim had only married him to increase ratings on Keeping Up with the Kardashians. The best part was that Kris asked for a $7 million divorce settlement from his ex-wife. Otherwise, he threatened to make her endure an ugly public trial. But the NBA star ended up walking away with literally nothing. Number 8, Emma Roberts and Evan Peters. The American Horror Story actors first met on the set of Adult World in 2012, and in the short 4 years since then, the two have shared more drama than some of Hollywood's biggest blockbusters. Toxic doesn't even begin to describe their relationship. We're talking about at least 3 breakups and deleting all social media traces of each other. Early on in their relationship, TMZ reported that the two got into a heated argument while staying at a hotel in Montreal that ended up with both stars getting physical. When police arrived, Peters was found with a bloody nose and bite marks on his body, prompting police to take Emma into custody, arresting her for domestic violence. But her then boyfriend decided not to press charges, and they were back together a few hours later. What's really bizarre is that a couple of days after the fight, photos were shared online of Emma clinging to Evan while sobbing into his arms after news broke of the fight. Paparazzi were even able to capture the two hugging one another, with Emma looking extremely upset the whole time. The incident was a bit of a grey area, but many have labeled it as straight up domestic violence.
In spot number 7, we have LeAnn Rimes. One of the biggest cheating celebrity scandals of all time. She cheated with her co-star at the time, Eddie Cibrian, back in 2009 when they worked together on the movie Northern Lights. Their relationship seemed to move past the co-star stage, and they had a secret relationship going on behind closed doors. At the time of the cheating scandal, LeAnn was married to dancer Dean Shermitt for 9 years, and Eddie was married to a model named Brandi Granville. Everyone was shocked to learn about their relationship, and the only reason anyone found out was because it was caught on camera. Surveillance footage from a restaurant was leaked online and showed the two of them having dinner together and then kissing and holding hands. Even though there was very valid proof in this video, the two of them still denied infidelity and continued to say that they did not cheat. And honestly, that just made people more angry. Like, how are you even gonna deny it? Like, just apologize? Hello? It's on video. I hate that. I hate that.
Number 6, Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt. Before the former couple split, their relationship was clearly becoming strained, as The Sun reported that the same year that Jolie filed for divorce, they were spotted in Legoland having a major public spat. Onlookers told the magazine that both stars didn't look happy and looked stern-faced, and photos from the incident show Brad actually grabbing Angelina's arm while she pulls away and appears to be screaming at him. The couple filed for divorce in 2016, citing irreconcilable differences. Now the actors are both learning to co-parent their 6 children after years of custody battles and child support drama. According to Daily Mail, Brad has even been seen visiting Angelina's house to spend time with his kids, so it sounds like they are back on good terms.
Number 5, we have restricted oxygen. During an appearance on the Late Night Show with David Letterman in 1999, Tom Cruise would recall the moment where he restricted oxygen for a passenger when flying to Colorado. According to Tom, he and his co-pilot, as well as a passenger, were using oxygen masks because they were flying at high altitudes. However, Tom realized that he didn't have enough oxygen to stay alert at that altitude. Him and the pilot decided to turn off the oxygen masks for the passengers so they could continue on their journey. As he continued to tell the story, he would say that the passenger passed out due to a lack of oxygen, and he found the situation pretty hilarious. The whole situation was pretty much arrogant because Tom and his co-pilot had the opportunity to go down to a lower altitude to continue their journey. Instead of disregarding the passenger's safety, just decided to care about his own well-being, which just isn't okay.
Number 4, Nicholas Hoult and Jennifer Lawrence. The couple fell in love with each other when they first met on the set of the X-Men movie series and became co-stars. Jennifer played Mystique and Nicholas portrayed Beast. It all seemed to be going well for the pair until they suddenly split in 2014 after dating for nearly 5 years. They did have a really public fight, however, when they were once spotted arguing during a dinner. According to reports, the former couple was at a restaurant together when they started really getting into it. Witnesses claim that the actress was upset about something and even threw her hands into the air at one point. Nicholas apparently also got very frustrated as he started shouting at her. Jennifer had apparently had enough with him and broke down as he stormed out of the restaurant. Seems like it was a bit of a mess, but it's great that the former couple have since been able to move on with their respective partners.
And at number 3, Heard copying Depp's outfits. One strange thing that's been noticed during the trial is that Amber seems to copy Johnny's outfits in court. Dr. Shannon Curry took the witness stand and testified that she diagnosed Amber Heard with 2 personality disorders, and one could cause her to mimic her ex-husband Johnny Depp's wardrobe choices. Dr. Curry claimed that Amber's disorder may cause her to, quote, take on the identity of the people they are spending time with because it's comforting. At that point, fans already started to notice that she was copying Depp's outfits, with some believing it's a tactic to intimidate him. Many fans on Twitter are pointing out the strange coincidence, pointing out how Heard will copy the color and style of whatever Depp wears the next day.
Number 2, Beyonce and Jay-Z. Yes, I'm about to talk about the infamous sushi fight. So in 2016, the paparazzi caught the power couple dining at a sushi park restaurant in LA. And from the photos which surfaced online, we can tell that they really got into it. It showed them having anything but a pleasant sushi date. Beyonce was yelling and waving her finger at Jay-Z while he looked like he was glued to his phone the whole time. They say that it's rude to use your phone at dinner, but even worse, he just seems like he wasn't listening to her at all. The truth is, we'll never know what started the public argument, but it wasn't the first intense fight that they've ever been in. This all took place 2 years after the bizarre elevator fight at the 2014 Met Gala between Jay-Z and Beyonce's sister Solange, when she started attacking him by punching and kicking him in an elevator, all while the bodyguards eventually had to restrain her. It was really quite funny because Beyonce was just standing there and watching it all unfold. The 3 artists did make a joint statement about the incident, which read, quote, "They both have apologized to each other and we have moved forward as a united family." And coming in at number 1, Shia LaBeouf and Mia Goth. The controversial actor Shia LaBeouf has had some seriously messed up allegations brought against him in recent years, but this fight was just so bizarre that it deserves a place on the list. The actor and his former longtime girlfriend Mia Goth, who has recently starred in the horror movie X, got into a heated altercation in Germany in 2015 that was all captured on video. The argument occurred on the streets and got so bad that a few locals had to intervene. Shia was heard shouting, quote, "I don't want to touch a woman, I don't want to hit a woman, but I'm being pushed." He then got into a random person's car and had them drive him to the airport. He later told that same person that if he had stayed there, then he would have taken her life. But they seem to have made up after the fight and even got married in 2016 in Las Vegas, only to split up 2 years later. The relationship was probably a complicated one because in 2020, People magazine reported that the pair was spotted together wearing wedding rings. Hopefully they parted for good because they seem to be extremely toxic together.
And at number 10, Heard looks like she's snorting something. While Amber Heard was on the stand, it was pretty emotional, so she had some tissues nearby to dry her tears if she got emotional. At one point she decided to blow her nose, but she did it in such a strange way that the internet believed she was actually doing something illegal. If you watch the video in slow motion, it looks like Amber uses the tissue to push something into her nose and then she snorts it. It doesn't look like she blows anything into the tissue, which is generally what they're used for. Theories then started brewing that Heard snorted a white substance into her nose, but many felt it was way too much of a stretch. Then a more probable theory started circulating that Amber snorted menthol, which is a common trick that makes actors cry, especially since under the circumstance, crying would help her case in trial. And at number 9, Amber afraid of Johnny Depp. During the shocking trial, the couple have not had any contact. On top of that, the pair also haven't made much eye contact, mostly because Depp refuses to look in Heard's direction. Recently, while Heard was getting off the stand, Johnny was approaching it, and there was an awkward moment where they were about to cross paths. When Heard seemed to notice that it was about to happen, she looked very startled, then walked away from him. Heard looked like she was physically shrinking and terrified. Taking a step back as court officials immediately turned towards Depp and put their hands up, warning him to stay away. To make matters worse, moments before that, Heard had been testifying about Depp assaulting her with a bottle and threatening to take her life. So clearly emotions were running very high. During Heard's testimony, Depp was not paying attention, doodling and writing in a notebook. And at number 8, posed while on the stand. Another moment that's going viral online shows Amber Heard posing for a photo while on the stand. While she was talking about the time in her relationship when Johnny was detoxing, she had a tissue to her face and held it there until she saw the flash of a camera taking a picture. Even crazier, if you watch the whole clip, you can see that she doesn't even use this tissue, making it clear the whole thing was just for show. Body language expert Dr. Lillian Glass agrees, saying, quote, "Yes, she posed for sure. She had no liquid in her eyes or nose, and she never blew her nose, just put the Kleenex to her nose and kept it there. She snuck a peek at the camera to make sure they had the shot." Obviously, things like this do not make Amber Heard look good, and it makes it seem like she's doing everything possible to get good press. At number 7, the Matt Lauer interview. Another one of Tom Cruise's most arrogant moments caught on camera when he clashed with Matt Lauer on the Today Show, and the whole interview got pretty heated. In June of 2020, Brooke Shields would lash out at Cruise, who on Access Hollywood called her irresponsible for using medication to help her combat her battle with depression. Tom would sit down with Matt and he became pretty defensive. Matt then took a few moments to devote the interview to the film before diving into Tom's relationship with Katie, Scientology, and ultimately then brought up the Brooke Shields dust-up. Cruise would then go on to call Matt a glib and would go on to a rant to defend Scientology and their anti-psychiatry stance. After the interview, Tom would also later admit that his conduct in the interview came across as arrogant because honestly it pretty much did.
And at number 6, inconsistencies in her story. Since the internet is mostly on Johnny Depp's side in things, after Amber Heard took the stand, the internet immediately started dissecting her testimony. Viral TikToks even show people acting out her retelling of events, and it makes literally no sense. In one TikTok, the audio hears Amber claiming that she was sitting on the edge of a couch, then she says how she was on the floor looking at how dirty the rug is, painting the picture that her version of events makes no sense. A tweet breaking down another event said, quote, "I walked out of the bedroom and he slapped me in the face. I turned around to face him and I said, 'Johnny, you just hit me.'" The user pointed out that you can't be slapped by someone and then turn around to face them. Halfway through our list, at number 5, we have Kristen Stewart. I feel like I talk about this scandal all the time on this channel because it was a big deal at the time when it happened. So I talk about it a lot. It was making the cover of magazines and headlining titles everywhere. No exaggeration. If you don't know the drama or you forgot about it, let me fill you in because I know the story like no tomorrow. Back in 2011, Kristen was dating her Twilight co-star Robert Pattinson, and everyone thought they were gonna get married and have beautiful children like they did in the Twilight series. But then paparazzi photos surfaced and showed Kristen making out with another man. But the man in this story was also a very scandalous thing because it was her director from her movie Snow White and the Huntsman, and he was married. He was 41 years old at the time and she was only 22, and he was married to Liberty Ross, who was also the mother of their 2 children. So obviously it was a huge shock to everyone involved. Kristen and Rob split immediately, and it broke the hearts of millions of fans, including me. Like, I'm still not over it. I'm still not over it. I was so upset. At one point in the photo, she's in the car making out with him, and like she blatantly looks at the camera who's taking the pictures and like smiles and keeps making out with him. Like, I feel like she wanted to get caught.
And at number 4, ACLU donation. One of the worst cases of Amber Heard lying is in regards to her donations to the ACLU, since it's so easy to get to the truth. During her divorce proceedings, Amber went on record stating that she would donate the proceeds from her divorce to Children's Hospital of LA and the ACLU within 10 years. During the recent trial, the ACLU says that she gave them less than half of her $3.5 million pledge. An executive from the company, Terrence Doherty, said that the nonprofit received 4 donations in Amber's name so far, totaling only $1.3 million. Only $350,000 from her directly. Johnny Depp then wrote a check for $100,000, and Amber Heard asked for that money to be credited to her. The organization also says other payments included $500,000 from a donor-advised fund at Vanguard and $350,000 from a donor-advised fund at Fidelity. The ACLU believes a large portion of this money came from Elon Musk, Heard's former boyfriend.
Number 3. Simon Cowell and Lauren Silverman. This was not just one explosive fight, but actually several. The lid was really blown off the couple's relationship problems when paparazzi captured photos of them in March last year having a tense argument while walking with their son Eric. According to The Sun, passerbys noticed that the X Factor judge had a face like thunder, and their arguing was so loud almost everyone could hear them. In fact, it was reportedly so bad that Lauren got fed up and had to walk away from Simon, while the former American Idol judge decided to cross the road to the other side to put some distance between them, and he walked the rest of the way on the other side of the street. But that wasn't the first time that the pair had a fight in public. In fact, back in 2013, the couple were seen shouting at each other inside a car in New York City. They were even photographed in the middle of an altercation while sitting in the back of an SBU in broad daylight with their windows down. Simon had his hands in the air and Lauren looked like she was crying. I guess it goes to show you that celebrities really are just normal people.
And at number 2, hides a water bottle. There might not be anything wrong with this one, but it's definitely strange. So while Amber Heard is in court, she's talking to her lawyers, and then she goes to unscrew a water bottle. Pretty normal stuff. But then one of the courtroom cops comes over and walks by, and for some reason Amber quickly screws the cap back on and hides it in her jacket pocket. This bizarre moment is leading some to believe that the contents of the bottle were definitely not water. The caption on the video read, quote, "Amber Heard and her deeply sus moment in court with her water bottle." And finally, number 1, hid a smile. There have been a few moments in court that have just not seemed to add up. A few involve Amber Heard laughing or hiding a smile either while she's testifying or while Johnny Depp is. A body language expert did an entire 30-minute video on this topic, breaking down one specific moment where Amber Heard's facade cracked, and she showed her true emotion. In the thumbnail he wrote, quote, "One smile exposed her." In the intro clip, we see Johnny recalling a moment with Amber and he says, quote, "It just didn't happen." As the camera pans to Amber, we see a brief smirk that she quickly conceals. The expert notes in the video that he believes she bit the inside of her cheek to conceal the smile. She then blocks her mouth as a reflex to again hide her emotion. The expert continues that it's shocking that she would decide to laugh in that moment when she sees her former partner breaking down on the stand.
At number 10, we have jumping on Oprah's sofa. So when Tom Cruise was caught jumping on Oprah's sofa, it had to be one of the most arrogant incidents to ever happen in Hollywood. In 2005, in his interview with Oprah, the episode would become one of the most bizarre public displays of affection we have ever seen. Now, Tom would only appear on the show to promote his role in the film War of the Worlds. However, people would quickly forget about the film entirely, after he went on to declare his love for Katie Holmes. Tom would then be seen acting manically as he began to jump up and down on Oprah's furniture while screaming, "I'm in love, I'm in love. It's one of these things where you want to be cool, like yeah, I like her. That's how I feel." However, while the star wanted to look cool, he definitely didn't in this situation. And number 9, stunt gone wrong. So in the acting world, Tom is well known for performing his own stunts, and some of his stunts he's performed, not even a stunt devil would do the same thing. With the Mission Impossible franchise providing a wealth of opportunities for him to indulge in his inner daredevil, like the moment he clung to the outside of a plane when it took off. The film definitely took a toll on him because not only was he launched into the air tied to the outside of an airplane, however, he also had to scale the world's tallest building. However, in the 6th Mission Impossible series, Tom would actually end up performing a stunt after insisting he could do it, and he ended up breaking his ankle in the process. When the actor was meant to hit the side of the wall and pull himself up and over the edge, he made the mistake of hitting the wall with his foot, and he knew instantly his ankle was broken. If Tom didn't let his arrogance get the best of him, this whole situation could have been avoided if he just let the stunt devil do his job. Hey Peaches, are you enjoying this video so far? If so, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And number 8, Scientology video. Tom Cruise is a member of the Church of Scientology, and this has been a well-known fact known by the public for years. Although his involvement with the church has been pretty controversial over the last couple of years, many of us are surprised when the church released a promotional video onto the internet back in 2008, and it featured Tom Cruise. The 9-minute video would show Tom discussing his beliefs while the theme of his Mission Impossible films played in the background. The video format appeared to be an interview with Cruise, and it was edited so viewers couldn't hear the questions being asked, and some of Cruise's responses even ended up abruptly. His strange, intense, and strong delivery as he discussed the benefits of Scientology left us all appropriately bewildered. It was just such an arrogant moment because it's never right to preach about any type of religion anywhere, and while the star can study and believe what he wants to believe, he definitely should have known better.
And at number 7, stole lines from the talented Mr. Ripley. Another claim that went wild on social media was that Amber Heard copied the main stories from her testimony from TV shows and movies. At one point, a side-by-side comparison of her transcript compared to the script from the talented Mr. Ripley was posted on Twitter, making it seem like she copied the movie script word for word. But when you actually compare the lines from the movie and what Amber said, you can see that it's not a direct copy like it was claimed. If anything, the storytelling is very similar, but that could just be a coincidence. Depending on what side you're on in this case, you'll probably see what you want to see, but it's not nearly as compelling as the internet made it seem before.
And number 6, the water prank. Though Tom Cruise has been given a few outrageous interviews, he probably can be excused for being a little peeved with Channel 4 during a red carpet encounter that happened in 2005 after the interviewer decided to play a prank on the actor by spraying Tom in the face with a small jet of water. Tom would then be furious and go on to say, "That's incredibly rude. I'm here giving you an interview." Tom would then continue to go on and would call the interviewer a jerk. Later, a clip of the interview would then begin to circulate online, and fans were quick to call out Tom's arrogance. After it was reported, he got police involved over the harmless incident. Channel 4 would then come out to issue an apology to Tom over the stunt. Channel 4 would come out to say, "The stunt was intended to be lighthearted rather than malicious, and we would like to apologize to Mr. Cruise for any offense that was caused."
Number 5. Rihanna and Hassan Jameel. The former couple seemed like they were perfect for each other after rumors swirled that the two were engaged in 2017. Although they managed to keep their relationship very private and didn't post many photos together on social media, photos emerged of the two on a trip to Mexico in 2018 that left many fans wondering if they were done for good. The paparazzi captured photos that painted a picture of Rihanna screaming at her former billionaire boyfriend and angrily pointing her finger at him while they were on the poolside. What's interesting about the photos is that in comparison to Rihanna, Jameel looked very calm and almost passive in the argument, which made the whole thing go viral. Because of all the noise online, the singer took to Instagram and posted a meme of a female lion roaring at a male lion with the caption, Quote, "When you think you know more about soccer, hashtag World Cup 2018. But even though she had a good sense of humor about the fight, the couple still ended up splitting up in 2020 because allegedly their lives were just too different and it was too hard to maintain a relationship."
And number 4, Brooke Shields feud. In 2005, Tom would criticize Brooke Shields for using medication. The whole situation would cause a major rift between the two stars. Cruise would go on to tell Access Hollywood that Brooke was irresponsible for saying in her memoir, Down Came the Rain, that she used medications to help cure her of her postpartum depression following the birth of her daughter Rowan in 2003. Brooke then would respond to Tom by saying he should stick to saving the world from aliens. Tom would later be asked about his views in another interview on the Today Show, and he got into a pretty heated argument with the interviewer. Tom would go on to say that there's no such thing as chemical imbalance and insisted that vitamins and exercise were a better way to cure depression, before going on to call the host a glib. Brooke would then go on to say that Cruise's comments were a disservice to mothers everywhere. Tom would then go over to Brooke's house to later apologize, and they seemed to recover their friendship as Brooke would attend his wedding in 2006.
In our third spot is Balthazar Getty. His affair took place back in 2008 and caused a lot of drama in Hollywood. He was married to Rosetta Millington when photos surfaced and showed him having an affair with actress Sienna Miller. At the time, he remained silent on the matter, and he and Rosetta separated for 2 years. But they eventually reunited, and he says that Rosetta, who is also the mother of his 4 children, forgave him and gave him another chance. He finally opened up about it and spoke about it during an interview in 2016, where he called the affair ancient history and said it was in another lifetime for him. He explained that he and his wife took the space that they needed and that when they came back together, their marriage was stronger than ever. As for Rosetta, she was open about the subject in 2010 when she took him back, as many people just asked her why she would do that. She talked about it during interviews and said, "It was a very challenging time for everybody involved, but I loved and missed my family too much not to make it work." Yeah, that will get you. Missing your children, missing them. It's a tough one when family is involved, eh?
And number 2, rant on set. I think we all had enough with the situation we were all put in following 2019. However, Tom really came across arrogant following a dispute he had with film crew staff that chose not to follow the rules. When an audio recording started to circulate on the internet, Tom furiously berated the crew of the Mission Impossible 7 set for failing to follow the rules, and we would all be left feeling shook when the actor went on to say, "If I see you do it again, you're effing done. We are the gold standard. They're back in Hollywood making films right now because of us, because they believe in us and what we're doing. We're creating thousands of jobs. I don't want to ever see it again. Ever." Fans then would become pretty divided over the outburst, as Tom went about the issue in such an aggressive tone and the use of language didn't sit well with any of us. While some agreed with his points, claiming that he was taking a stand for health and safety, there was definitely a better way of dealing with the situation. Number 1, hysterical antidote. Now, no one knows if this situation was less awkward or confrontational or simply just confusing. Tom made an appearance on David Letterman's late night show in the mid-90s. It would show the actor laughing for several minutes straight. The whole situation would start when Tom was trying to relate to Antidote about his latest movie. Tom began to crack up near the beginning of the interview and couldn't seem to stop laughing for the whole duration. Luckily for him, everyone around him also said it was funny, including David Letterman, who would also soon join his peers in laughter. However, the unexplained fit of near hysteria endures one of Cruise's most arrogant moments.